Okay, stinging nettle tincture. This is the nettle. This is all that's left from all the nettle that I harvested about, a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It's not as dry as I normally would prefer it. I usually like to have it dry enough that when I touch it, it crumbles. This isn't quite that dry. I can touch it and move it around and it's not crumbling. As I break off a leaf, it's got some give to it. Usually I like it so it's a little drier than that, but I don't know that it actually matters all that much. So this is this is the last bunch. This is what it looks like when I dry a small bunch. If I dry a large bunch, I have a lot of pieces that are mildewy. A lot of pieces just don't dry nicely. So smaller bunches are better. The size of these are good. You can see that there are the needles on here, the stinging nettle stingers. They are on there. When they're dry, you can handle them. You can see it here on the stem of the leaf that I plucked off. They behave very differently dry than when they're moist and fresh. However, my hands are also calloused because I can never find gloves that fit. So I don't use gloves outside when I'm doing chores. And so it could also be a side benefit of having calloused hands that I can handle the nettle when it's dry. When it's small. Now this one I can handle. This one is a little bit different, as thick as it is. It's not quite as thick as these ones. These ones you might be able to see have really strong and intense needles, stinging nettles, stingers. I don't know what you'd call them. And it's not wanting to focus on it very well, so we'll try again. But these larger canes, these taller ones where they're thicker at the base, they tend to have a more developed nettle to it. And these ones I will prefer to use gloves because these are the ones that will poke through my calloused fingers, my calloused skin into my fingers. And that's not very comfortable. But after doing the nettle earlier today, working with it for about an hour and a half, barehanded, all I have is this little spot right here that is tender. Everything else is fine. I don't have any red, swollen, terribly stingy fingers. Another thing I wanted to show you is that these are the flowers. This is the younger flower, this is the older flower. You can see they don't really look like what you might think of as a flower. So this is the very top of the stems. This is the leaves here that are encapsulating the flowers. As they get taller, the stinging nettle, these get longer. They're small little, I don't know what they are. They're round flowers. But since I'm making the stinging nettle tincture for my husband's allergy treatment, I'm avoiding pollen in his tincture. I don't know how the pollen survives through the vodka. It may not survive through the vodka in a way that would cause a problem for him, but I have enough that it's not worth the risk. So I take these out. I just clip them off the top with my fingers or I just leave them on the stem. When you have a bunch before the flowers come, you can go ahead and throw those in. Like at the very top here, there's no flower there. Oh, there's a little bit of flower there, but it's such a small young flower. Use your discretion, whatever you'd like. Just try to keep in mind what you're making your tincture for, and if it's for allergies, I would recommend not putting in the flowers with its potential pollen. This also is a leaf I did not put in. Every once in a while, I miss one when I'm harvesting. This one's got bug or something on it, but there's no point in having bug or animal waste in your stinging nettle tincture. So if you remember when I was harvesting, I would clip off the leaves that looked like they had been eaten by bugs or that had, you know, bird poop on it or something, or ones that had been discolored quite a bit. And even when you're harvesting, when you're working with them after they're dry, you'll still come across some. So keep your eye open for that. Now to the tincture. First thing, you want to make sure you have 100 proof vodka. The brand doesn't matter. The strength matters. Most vodka that I found in the stores was 80 proof. You have to look and make sure you're getting 100 proof. It's the properties in the 100 proof vodka that works to rehydrate the dried leaf matter, whatever it is you're doing, this being the stinging nettle. So it will rehydrate the nettle and it will pull out the properties in the nettle that you're wanting to utilize in your tincture. They'll bond together, and then this is why we call it a green fire water. This is why another young man jokingly refers to it as vodka and weed. He thinks that's pretty cute. The vodka gives it the fire water properties, and the stinging nettle gives it a very green flavor. So I put it in a jar. I usually use this jar, but my lid has gone missing, so I'm using these two smaller jars, and I will use a third or fourth jar later on. You stuff it into the jar, get it nice and packed in there, press it down. This has been in the vodka for a couple of minutes while I was getting ready and while we've been talking up till now. So I can press it down and put some more leaves in there and then get it finished. This one here I did earlier, and you want to make sure that your vodka covers the top of your leaf. You don't want to have your leaf higher than your vodka level, your liquid level. But this is already beginning to rehydrate, so it's hard to tell that the liquid was higher than the leaves. But it is. This is what it looks like. You want it as full as you can get it. And then you'll put the lid on nice and snug. And you will come through every couple days, once a week, maybe twice a week, and give it a really good shake. Just help mixing things up, agitating it a little bit. I think I have the lid on tight enough now. You'll come through every couple of days and just give it a good shake. And of course, there's a little bit of air in there. Maybe you'll want to turn it upside down. If you do, make sure your lid is on really tight. And then it just needs to steep for 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how strong you want it. I let mine go for 4 weeks. Some people like 2 weeks. See what works for you. This is my husband's primary allergy treatment, and he's had severe allergies for the majority of his life. So I let it go for the full 4 weeks. He takes a tablespoon or 2 in the morning before he goes to work. It's not quite the same as having a straight shot of vodka before you go to work in the morning. It's never made him feel different or drunk or anything. I don't know how the nettle and the vodka, how they work together on an alcohol side, but I do know that when he does take the nettle tincture makes a significant impact on his allergies, and he's able to function for the day and then come home, and if it's peak allergy season, he may take another tablespoon or 2 before he goes outside and does some farm chores. So this is the stinging nettle process for making tincture. You want to write on your calendar the date that you set it in the vodka, and then also on the calendar the date that you want to finish your nettle tincture. What you do to finish it, and I'll make a video at that time as best I can, you get some cheesecloth and you strain out the contents of the jar into I do it into a bowl. It's just easier. And then you squeeze the cheesecloth that's containing all of the contents of your jar, you squeeze out as much liquid as you can, because that is what you're going for. So you want to get every drop that you can out. You no longer need the leaves at that point. And then I pour the tincture into some bottles, some old wine bottles or some kind of medicine bottle that I have. And then I label the bottle and keep it in the refrigerator. So I will make a video at that point, but that is a month away. So right now we're just going to let our stinging nettle tincture soak and steep and get shaken every couple of days. And we'll check back with it another time.